HWRCs, not an acronym that trips off the tongue. They're household waste recycling centres or council tips to you and me. And like every other local authority service nowadays, they're under pressure to make savings. So many have started charging to take what they call DIY waste off your hands. Things like plasterboard, rubble, old sinks. We sent our Hampshire and Isle of Wight reporter Jess Parker to find out if people think that that's a straightforward, money-saving wheeze or rubbish.
A trip to the tip. But now it could cost you, depending on what you bring. New charges are in force in Hampshire for what's known as DIY waste. And it's taken Adam here by surprise.
I just turned up and to drop off some soil and rubble from our garden to find out there's a charge here now.
What are you going to do with all your rubble?
I'm not sure. Total up how much it's going to cost, I guess.
It cost Adam £15. These new fees are for items like domestic soil, rubble and plasterboard. An expensive day's work on the garden.
Yes. Yeah, should have done it earlier.
Charges for so-called DIY waste have now been brought in across many areas of the south. Councils say they can do this as these items technically class as non-household waste.
I believe it's a tip tax. I think that residents are going to feel they're paying twice. They're already paying for a service, which, for their waste collection and waste recycling.
No, it's not a tip tax in terms of we have accepted that waste previously and your normal household waste will not be charged for. But we do have to charge for that waste, which is very expensive to get rid of.
What people will see is that they weren't paying for something that they now have to pay for.
Absolutely, because my budget has been cut considerably, so I now need to charge for that to keep the sites open.
With crushing pressure on council budgets, an increasing number of local authorities are introducing these kinds of charges. So, day to day, what's the damage? In Hampshire, a sack of rubble now costs £2.50 to dispose of. In West Sussex, bringing a bag of plasterboard will cost you £4. And in Dorset, rolling up with a car tyre will cost you £5. But some residents don't think these fees are fair.
I've got 4 grow bags in the back, which I've cut in half to make them smaller and manageable, and I find that they want £2.50 for each of the bags that I've got. I'll show you them if you like in the boot.
And what do you think of this charge then?
I think it's deplorable. I mean, we pay our rates and taxes, so why shouldn't we have this facility?
George drives off. He's going to dump the soil back in his own garden. But there are fears that others won't be so law-abiding.
The majority of people will get on with it and will pay the charges, but it may just actually encourage a few people, if it's just a little bit too hard or they don't feel that they want to pay, just to basically dump their waste at the side of the road. It's no excuse, it's still illegal, it's still fly tipping, but a local authority that would then have to pay to come and clear that waste up. So we worry that it's potentially a false economy.
On farmland near Basingstoke, we found this. Incidents of fly tipping have been on the rise, and the clear-up comes at a cost, £50 million to local authorities in England last year. Isn't there an issue when you make people pay a little bit more that they might be more likely to fly tip?
No, I don't think so. The evidence is that we've seen from other authorities, and some of them have been charging for a long time. I accept that there is a concern and that we're addressing that through the fly tipping strategy, but the evidence is that people don't like change initially, but they accept that we have to pay for the non-household waste to keep our sites open.
A slightly pricier trip to the tip may not seem like the harsher end of austerity, but it is a measure that hits people's pockets. And for politicians, that's always a risky strategy. Just a tip.
Jess Parker reporting there. Miriam, yes. Do you think we will end up with more fly tipping as a result of this? Is it a good strategy?
Well, I think one of the